The big meeting room was quiet. Commander Zektal sat at the long table, his 4 blue arms shaking. His 6 eyes looked at the judges from different planets. They all wanted to know about the war with humans. The war that changed everything. Zektal was from the planet Kithera. His people looked like tall blue crystals with many arms. They were smart and strong. They had fought many wars and always won. But the humans were different. Very different. "I will tell you what I saw," Zektal said. His voice machine made his words sound like human words. "I was the commander of the 47th Battle Fleet. We had 200 ships, big ships with powerful weapons. We thought we would beat the humans easily." The first time Zektal met humans was near the Proxima Belt. It was a place with many rocks floating in space. His ships found one human ship. Just one small ship called the Dakota. Captain Jake Morrison was in charge of that ship. Zektal smiled when he saw the human ship. It was tiny. Compared to his ships, he had 200 ships. The humans had one. This would be easy. "Surrender now," Zektal told Captain Morrison over the radio. "You cannot win." But Morrison did not surrender. He did not try to run away. He did something crazy. Something no other alien had ever done. Morrison flew his ship straight at Zektal's biggest ship. He was going to crash into it. The human is scared, Zektal thought. He wants to die fighting. But then something strange happened. Small pods came out of Morrison's ship. These pods were supposed to save the crew if the ship was broken. But the humans were not using them to escape. They were using them as weapons. Lieutenant Amy Brooks was Morrison's second in command. She was a small human with short brown hair. She had changed the escape pods. She put bombs inside them. But not normal bombs. Smart bombs that could think. The pods flew toward Zektal's ships. They sent signals that said, "Help us, we surrender." Zektal's ships moved closer to catch the pods. They wanted to capture the humans inside. "We will question them," Zektal told his crew. "They will tell us about human battle plans." But there were no humans in the pods, only bombs. When Zektal's ships got close, the bombs exploded. Big explosions that hurt many ships. In just a few minutes, half of Zektal's fleet was damaged or destroyed. Morrison's ship crashed into Zektal's command ship. The crash made a big hole in the side. Air rushed out into space. Many of Zektal's soldiers died. But before Morrison died in the crash, he sent a message to other human ships. "This is how we fight," Morrison said. "We use everything as a weapon." Zektal did not understand. His people fought with honor. They used proper weapons. They followed rules. The humans seemed to think everything could be a weapon. Their rescue equipment was a weapon. Their own ship was a weapon. Even their deaths were weapons because they scared other aliens. The escape pods were just the beginning, Zektal told the judges. "We learned that humans do not think like us. They do not follow normal rules. When we surrounded them, they did not surrender. When we tried to help their wounded, it was a trap. When they seemed weak, they were planning something terrible." After the first battle, Zektal was afraid. He had lost 100 ships in 10 minutes. The humans had lost one ship, but they had won. How was this possible? He called his commanders together. "Tell me about these humans," he said. Colonel Vex was his intelligence officer. He had studied many alien races. "The humans are new to space. War," Vex said. "They only learned to travel between stars 50 years ago. Their technology is not very advanced. Their ships are slow and weak." "Then how did they beat us?" Zektal asked. "They think differently," Vex said. "Other aliens fight to win battles. Humans fight to win wars. They will sacrifice anything to win. They will use anything as a weapon. They will break any rule if it helps them." Zektal did not believe this at first, but then he fought humans again and again. Each time, they did something impossible, something that made no sense. At the Battle of New Mars, Captain Lisa Gray commanded a human base. Zektal's army surrounded the base. There was no way out for the humans. They should have surrendered. Instead, Captain Gray sent her soldiers to attack at night. But they did not use normal weapons. They used tools, Hammers became weapons. Cooking equipment became bombs. Medical supplies became poison gas. Sergeant Bob Martinez led a team that used farming robots as tanks. The robots were meant to plant seeds and water crops, but the humans put armor on them and gave them guns. They rode the farming robots into battle like they were war machines. The strangest thing happened when Private Kelly Smith was captured. She was young, maybe 20 years old. She had blonde hair and blue eyes. She looked harmless. Zektal's soldiers put her in a prison cell, but Kelly Smith was not harmless. She used her shoelaces to make a weapon. She used buttons from her uniform to make a lockpick. She used thread from her clothes to make a trap. In one night, she escaped from prison, destroyed 3 guard posts, and stole important battle plans. How did she do this? Zektal asked his guards. We do not know, they said. She seemed so weak and helpless. This was when Zektal began to understand. Humans were not just different. They were dangerous in ways that no other alien could imagine. They could turn anything into a weapon. They could make friends with enemies just to betray them later. They could pretend to be weak when they were actually planning to attack. Every human is a soldier, Zektal told the judges. Even their children know how to fight. Even their doctors and farmers and teachers can become dangerous in seconds. They do not have a separate military class like we do. All humans are ready for war all the time. Zektal's 4 hands moved as he continued his story. The judges watched him carefully. They could see he was still scared from what he had seen. The second battle was worse, Zektal said. It was at Kepler Station. This was a big space station, where humans worked. We surrounded it with 300 ships. They had nowhere to run. We thought it would be easy to capture. Colonel Dan Parker was in charge of the human soldiers on the station. He had 500 Marines with him. Zektal had 5,000 soldiers. The numbers were clear. The humans should have given up. We will take the station in 1 day, Zektal told his army. The humans cannot fight us in space. But Colonel Parker did something that no alien had ever seen before. When Zektal's soldiers entered the station, Parker ordered his men to break the walls, not to defend the walls, but to break them on purpose. Why are they destroying their own station? Asked Colonel Vex, Zektal's second-in-command. Maybe they are going crazy, Zektal said. Maybe they know they will lose. But the humans were not crazy. They were being smart in a way that hurt Zektal's brain to think about. When the walls broke, all the air rushed out into space. The station became like the empty space between planets. No air to breathe. Very cold. Very dangerous. Zektal's soldiers needed special suits to live in space. Without air, they would die in minutes. The humans should have died too. But they did not die. They kept fighting. Sergeant Lisa White led a team of 20 Marines. When the air rushed out, her team put on magnetic boots. These boots stuck to metal. The humans walked on the outside of the station like it was ground. They moved upside down and sideways. They fought battles while hanging from the ceiling. How can they breathe? Zektal asked his scientists. Humans can hold their breath for a very long time, Dr. Kaur said. Maybe 10 minutes if they are strong. They have been fighting for 2 hours, Zektal said. This was impossible. No creature could fight in space without air for 2 hours. But the humans were doing it. They were not just surviving, they were winning. Private Sam Johnson was one of Sergeant White's Marines. He was a big man with black hair and strong arms. During the battle, he ran out of bullets for his gun. Instead of hiding, he took off his helmet and threw it at a Ketherian soldier. The helmet hit the soldier so hard that the soldier was knocked out. Then Sam Johnson picked up a piece of broken metal from the station. He used it like a sword. He fought 3 Ketherian soldiers at the same time, in space, with no air to breathe. And he won. How is this possible? Zektal screamed at his doctors. We do not know, they said. Maybe humans are not really alive, like we think. Maybe they are some kind of machine. But humans were not machines. They were just very, very tough. The worst part of the battle happened when Private Tony Garcia was captured. He was a young human with brown skin and a friendly smile. Zektal's soldiers caught him when he was trying to fix a broken computer. Finally, Zektal said, we have a prisoner. We will question him. He will tell us how humans can fight in space. But Tony Garcia did not act like a prisoner. He was friendly and kind. He asked about Cytherian families. He wanted to know about their home planet. He seemed very interested in their culture. "You are not what I expected," Tony told his guards. "Human stories say aliens are mean and scary. But you seem nice." The guards liked Tony. He was polite and funny. He told jokes and asked questions about their lives. After 2 days, the guards started to think of him as a friend, not an enemy. On the 3rd day, Tony asked if they wanted to learn a human game. "It is called poker," he said. "It is fun. We use these cards." Tony had a deck of cards in his pocket. The guards thought this was harmless. Just pieces of paper with pictures on them. They let Tony teach them the game. For hours they played poker. Tony was very good at it. He won most of the games. The guards laughed and had fun. They forgot that Tony was supposed to be their prisoner. The 4th day, something terrible happened. The power went out all over the station. Emergency lights turned on. Alarms were ringing everywhere. "What is happening?" the guards asked each other. Tony Garcia was gone. His cell was empty. But the door was still locked. The walls were not broken. How did he escape? Later, they found Tony in the main power room. He was destroying important machines. But he was not using bombs or tools. He was using playing cards. Playing cards are just paper, Zechtel told the judges. How can paper cut through metal cables? But somehow Tony had made the cards sharp like knives. He had cut through thick power cables. He had broken important computers. He had destroyed the life support systems that kept the station working. When Zechtel's soldiers found Tony, he was smiling. "Poker is not just a game," he said. "It teaches you how to trick people, how to make them trust you, how to win when they think you are losing." Major Helen Stone was Colonel Parker's intelligence officer. She was a smart woman with red hair and green eyes. She had trained all the human soldiers in something she called friendship warfare. "We make friends with enemies," Major Stone had told her soldiers. "We are nice to them. We make them like us. Then, when they trust us, we attack." This was the most scary thing Zechtel had ever heard of. His people believed that friendship was sacred. If someone was your friend, you protected them. You never hurt them. But humans could pretend to be friends. They could make you like them and trust them. Then they would betray you. They used kindness as a weapon. "How can beings be so cruel?" asked Judge Morlack, one of the alien judges listening to Zechtel's story. "They do not think it is cruel," Zechtel answered. "They think it is smart. They think it is necessary to win. Humans will do anything to win. They will sacrifice their friends. They will lie to people who trust them. They will pretend to be weak when they are strong." After the Battle of Kepler Station, Zechtel lost 200 more ships. The humans lost 50 soldiers, but those 50 soldiers destroyed an entire Cytherian fleet. "We started to be afraid of humans," Zechtel said. "Not because they were strong, but because we never knew what they would do next. Every time we fought them, they surprised us. Every time we thought we understood them, they did something impossible." Zechtel's 6 eyes closed for a moment. When he opened them, they were filled with pain. The judges could see that this part of his story was the hardest to tell. "The 3rd battle broke our minds," Zechtel said slowly. "It was at New Gibraltar, a human colony on a small planet. We had 50,000 soldiers, they had 5,000. We surrounded the planet. No ships could get in or out. The humans were trapped. Captain Rick Johnson was the leader of the human defenders. He was an older man with gray hair and calm eyes. When Zechtel demanded surrender, Johnson just smiled. "We will not surrender," Johnson said over the radio, "but we want to be friends. We have a gift for you." Then something strange started happening. Music began playing on all the radio channels. Not just human music channels, but Cytherian military channels too. The humans had somehow taken control of all communications. "Turn off this noise," Zechtel ordered his communications officer. "I cannot, sir," the officer replied. "They have hacked our systems. The music is coming from inside our own computers." The music was very loud and very angry. Humans called it death metal. It had screaming voices and crashing sounds. It hurt Cytherian ears. It made them feel scared and angry at the same time. But the worst part was when the music played. It played during Cytherian sleep time. It played when they tried to eat. It played when they tried to think or plan attacks. The humans never stopped the music. Lieutenant Beth Turner was Captain Johnson's specialist in mind warfare. She was a young woman with blonde hair and smart eyes. She had studied Cytherian culture for years. She knew what scared them. Cytherians need 8 hours of quiet time every day, Beth had told Captain Johnson. Without quiet, they cannot think clearly. They become confused and make mistakes. So the humans played loud music for 20 hours every day. Then, for 4 hours, they played soft, sad music. Music that made Cytherians think of home. Music that made them miss their families. "Why are you doing this to us?" Zektal asked Captain Johnson during a communication. "We are sharing our culture," Johnson replied. "This is how humans live. We have noise and music all the time. We thought you would like it." But Zektal knew Johnson was lying. The humans were attacking their minds, not their bodies. They were making it impossible for Cytherian soldiers to think or rest or feel safe. After 10 days of constant music, Zektal's soldiers began to act strangely. Some of them started crying for no reason. Others became very angry and fought each other. Many of them asked to go home. "Sir," said Colonel Vex, "our soldiers are getting sick. Not sick in their bodies, but sick in their minds." "Then we will attack quickly," Zektal said. "We will capture the humans and stop this music." But when Zektal's army attacked, something worse happened. The humans began talking to individual Cytherian soldiers by name. "Hello, Kekstar," a human voice said, over the radio. "We know you have 3 children on Kythera Prime. We know your youngest daughter is sick. We know you are worried about her." Kekstar was one of Zektal's best soldiers. He stopped fighting and stared at his radio. How did the humans know about his family? How did they know his daughter was sick? "We also know you collect rare crystals," the human voice continued. "We found some beautiful crystals on this planet. We will send them to your daughter if you want. Maybe they will help her feel better." This happened to hundreds of Cytherian soldiers. The humans somehow knew personal things about them. They knew about their families, their hobbies, their fears, their secrets. "How do they know so much about us?" Zektal asked his intelligence officers. "We do not know," they replied. "Maybe they have spies on our home planet." But the humans did not have spies, they had something better. They had Corporal Jack Miller. Jack Miller was a young human soldier with brown hair and kind eyes. He had been captured 3 months earlier during a small battle. Zektal's army had kept him as a prisoner to ask him questions about human plans. But Jack Miller had been very clever. Instead of answering questions, he had asked questions. He had been friendly and curious about Cytherian culture. He had talked to guards about their families and their lives back home. "I want to understand your people," Jack had told his guards. "Humans and Cytherians do not have to be enemies. Maybe we can be friends." Many guards had talked to Jack Miller. They had shared stories about their families and their homes. They had told him about their fears and their dreams. They had thought he was just a lonely prisoner who wanted to make friends. But Jack Miller had been collecting information. Every story, every name, every detail, he had remembered it all. Then he had found a way to send this information to other humans. The terrible thing happened when Zektal's commanders decided to execute Jack Miller. They thought killing him would make the humans afraid. "We will show these humans what happens to prisoners," General Mortok had said. "We will kill this Jack Miller in front of cameras. We will send the video to all human colonies." So they killed Jack Miller. They shot him in front of cameras and sent the video to human forces. But the humans did not become afraid. They became something much worse. They became furious. "You have made a big mistake," Captain Johnson told Zektal after seeing the video. "Jack Miller was our friend. Now we will show you what happens when you hurt our friends." The humans began something they called Operation Miller Time. Every attack was now dedicated to Jack Miller. Every victory was celebrated in his name. Every battle cry mentioned his death. For Jack Miller, the humans would shout as they attacked. But the scariest thing was what they did during the night. Human soldiers would sneak into Ketherian camps. They would not kill anyone. They would not steal anything. They would leave small things that had belonged to Jack Miller. Sergeant Nina Brooks led these night missions. She was a small woman with dark skin and very quiet feet. She could move through Ketherian camps without making any sound. Nina would leave Jack Miller's hat on a sleeping soldier's pillow, or his watch next to someone's bed, or his photographs in someone's locker. "How are they getting into our camps?" Zektal asked his security chief. "We do not know," the security chief replied. "Our sensors do not detect them. Our guards do not see them. But every morning, we find more of the dead humans' belongings." This drove Ketherian soldiers crazy with fear. They knew that if humans could put things next to their beds while they slept, humans could also put knives next to their beds, or poison, or bombs. "They are not trying to kill us," Colonel Vex realized. "They are trying to make us afraid to sleep. They want us to know they can reach us anytime, anywhere." After 2 weeks of Operation Miller Time, 3,000 Ketherian soldiers asked to be sent home. They said they could not fight an enemy that could appear and disappear like ghosts. "We killed one human," Zektal told the judges. "But by killing him, we created 5,000 demons who fought twice as hard." Zektal's whole body was shaking now. His forearms moved nervously as he prepared to tell the most frightening part of his story. The judges leaned forward to listen. "The last battle was at Titan's Gate," Zektal said. "This was where we learned the real truth about humans. The truth that still gives me nightmares. Titan's Gate was a huge space station near Saturn. It controlled all the ships going to the outer planets. If humans lost this station, they would lose the war. If Ketherians captured it, they would control half the galaxy." Admiral Carol Davis commanded the human fleet. She was an older woman with white hair and cold blue eyes. She had 100 ships. Zektal had 500 ships. This should have been an easy victory for the Ketherians. "Surrender now," Zektal told Admiral Davis over the radio. "You cannot win. We have 5 times more ships than you." Admiral Davis looked at Zektal through the video screen. She smiled. But it was not a friendly smile. It was the smile of someone who knew a terrible secret. "Commander Zektal," she said, "son of Morzek and Kilandra from the crystal cities of Kithera Prime, brother to Vextal and Cormac, father of 3 children, Zektel, Morkella, and little Kexazara, who just turned 5 years old." Zektal's 6 eyes went wide with shock. How did this human know so much about his family? How did she know his father's name? How did she know about his little daughter's birthday? "You are wondering how I know these things," Admiral Davis continued. "I know because we have been studying you, Zektal. Not just your military tactics, not just your technology. We have been studying you." Then, Admiral Davis began to speak in perfect Ketherian language, not the simple trade language that most aliens learned. She spoke in the old formal dialect that only Ketherian priests and scholars knew. "I know that you are afraid of the dark," she said in ancient Ketherian. "I know that you have nightmares about drowning in the crystal lakes of your home world. I know that you still sleep with a comfort stone that your mother gave you when you were a child." Zektal could not breathe. These were private things, secret things, things he had never told anyone, not even his wife. "How?" Zektal whispered. "Because humans are very good at learning," Admiral Davis replied. "We learn about our enemies better, then they know themselves. And now I will tell you exactly how each of your ships will be destroyed." What happened next was impossible to believe. Admiral Davis described in detail how she would attack each of Zektal's 500 ships. She knew which ships had weak shields. She knew which captains were brave and which were cowards. She knew which crews were loyal and which might surrender. "Your command ship will be the last to die," Admiral Davis said. "I will save you for last, Zektal. I want you to watch all your soldiers die first. I want you to know that their deaths are your fault for starting this war." The battle began 1 hour later. Everything happened exactly as Admiral Davis had predicted. Captain Steve Walsh led a team of human Marines who somehow got inside Ketherian ships without anyone seeing them. They moved through air vents that were too small for human bodies. They appeared in locked rooms that had no doors. They fought with weapons that should not have worked inside Ketherian ships. How are they doing this? Zektal screamed at his engineers. We do not know, the engineers replied. Our sensors show nothing. Our security systems detect no intrusion. But they are definitely inside our ships. The truth was terrible. The humans had been preparing for this battle for months. They had captured Ketherian technology and learned how to use it. They had studied Ketherian ship designs and found weaknesses that even Ketherians did not know existed. Captain Lucy Martinez was captured during one of these boarding missions. When Zektal questioned her, she calmly explained everything. We have been hacking your computers for 6 months, Lucy said. We know how your shields work, we know how your weapons work, we know how your life support systems work. We can turn your own ships against you. Impossible, Zektal said. Our technology is completely different from human technology. You cannot hack our systems. Lucy Martinez smiled. You are thinking like a Ketherian, she said. You think technology has rules that cannot be broken. But humans do not believe in rules. We believe that every system can be beaten if you are smart enough. She was right. As the battle continued, Ketherian ships began to malfunction. Their own computers turned against them. Their weapons fired at their own ships. Their life support systems shut down without warning. The humans are not just fighting us, Colonel Vex realized. They are fighting the idea that things are impossible. They refuse to accept that anything cannot be done. But the most frightening thing was still to come. As his fleet was being destroyed, Zektal received a message from his home planet. The message was from his wife. Zektal, his wife said in the message, strange humans have come to our city. They are not soldiers. They are teachers and doctors and engineers. They say they want to help our people. They are building schools for our children. They are sharing their medicine with our sick. What should I do? Zektal realized the horrible truth. While he was fighting human soldiers in space, other humans were on his home planet. They were not conquering Ketheria with weapons. They were conquering it with kindness. The humans are not just fighting a war, Zektal told the judges. They are fighting reality itself. They refuse to accept that anything is permanent. They refuse to accept that any problem cannot be solved. They refuse to accept that any enemy cannot be defeated. The war ended when Admiral Davis sent Zektal a final message. By this time, he had only 10 ships left out of 500. Zektal, Admiral Davis said, your people are not evil. This war started because of misunderstandings and fear. We do not want to destroy the Ketherian people. We want to be friends with them. Then why did you kill so many of us? Zektal asked. Because you threatened our families, Admiral Davis replied. Humans will do anything to protect the people they love. We will break any rule, fight any enemy, overcome any obstacle. We will even break the laws of physics if we have to. What do you want from us? Zektal asked. We want peace, Admiral, Davis said. But it has to be real peace. Your people must understand that humans are not weak. We are not victims. We are the species that looks at the impossible and says, try me. Zektal looked at the judges with his 6 tired eyes. That is what I learned about humans, he said. They do not just fight wars. They fight the concept of limitation itself. They look at the universe and refuse to accept that anything is beyond their power to change. Are humans dangerous? Asked Judge Morlack. Yes, Zektal replied, but not in the way we thought. They are dangerous because they make the impossible seem normal. They are dangerous because they refuse to give up. They are dangerous because they turn their love for each other into a weapon that can defeat anyone. The tribunal room was silent. The judges now understood why the war had ended in human victory. It was not because humans were stronger or smarter. It was because humans simply refused to accept defeat as a possibility.